5 ways to heal from narcissistic relationships. Everyone, thank you for checking out this video. This channel thrives on talking about narcissism and how to spot it in others, as well as how to deal with a narcissistic parent or partner in a relationship. Despite the many information, many of you still ask for advice on how to heal from the harm done by these people. So, today we will discuss some helpful strategies for recovering from narcissistic abuse. People who are in relationships with narcissists may be victims of manipulation, devaluation, and self-blame, as well as other forms of emotional abuse. This might lead us to doubt our sense of reality, have trouble figuring out who we are, and experience trauma. Contact with the narcissist should be reduced or severed if we are to move on and recover. I understand the difficulty of cutting off communication with an abuser and the unpleasant feelings that may accompany this choice. Yet, I would want to propose 5 strategies that can help us heal and reclaim our lives, regardless of the severity of the abuse we experienced in our prior partnership. The first step is to recognize that abuse is a problem. Over time, being subjected to gaslighting and manipulation can cause someone to doubt themselves and place blame on themselves, eventually leading them to believe the abuser's story. As a result, by calling attention to the abuse, we may better understand what's going on and validate our own reactions. Journaling might be a helpful first step in this direction. This method allows us to record the abuser's words and behaviors, as well as the impact of those on our lives. Talking about these incidents in therapy with a trained expert can then provide further information about the abuse's origins and effects. It's also crucial to take care of yourself. Building a self-care regimen that works for you emotionally and physically is important. Exercising, meditating, reading, and spending time in nature are all examples of self-care habits. Managing our feelings and dealing with stress are both improved by partaking in pursuits that bring us joy and relaxation. Secondly, healing from narcissistic abuse requires, among other things, the establishment of healthy boundaries. Boundaries prevent additional harm to our bodies, minds, and spirits by limiting our exposure to abusive situations. Although it may be difficult to establish limits at first, doing so is crucial to our healing process. The cultivation of supportive relationships is crucial. A sense of belonging and reduced feelings of loneliness can result from making connections with people who offer empathy, validation, and support. Joining a support group or even telling our story to someone who has been through something similar can help us heal and strengthen our ability to bounce back from adversity. By going through the steps outlined above, we may verify our feelings and experiences, which can lead to new insights and the ability to release ourselves from the cycle of abuse and deception in which we found ourselves. Writing, reflecting, and discussing our experiences are important, but they may also be intimidating. It's important to keep in mind that keeping painful memories buried only allows them to shackle us even more, while releasing them into the light can free us from their control. This process may be difficult at first, but it has the potential to bring about emancipation and renewal. To go forward, one must first acknowledge and accept the reality that the relationship has ended and begin the process of mourning its passing. That was still a relationship, albeit an abusive one. Sadness, longing, and even love can surface in its absence, despite the reality that one knows the relationship is unhealthy and must stop. It is essential to feel these emotions fully and openly. If you ignore them, the pain may become more intense. Rather, it helps to mourn the relationship's potential and the hopes we have for it. Narcissistic abusers may use the love-bombing tactic, in which they completely engulf and deceive their victims into believing that they are in an ideal relationship. As a result, It's not uncommon for people to have a sense of loss over their goals and convictions when a significant other dies. It's natural to feel sad about the relationship ending, miss the abuser, and even love them, but it's crucial to keep in mind the reasons for the breakup and the fact that you'll be healthier without them and the abuse. Many survivors of abuse say that their abuser distorted their sense of who they are and how they should relate to others. Don't rush through the grieving process. Acknowledge the things you believe you've lost and ask yourself whether there are ways to get them back. If not, deal with your disappointment and loss. I understand how challenging this phase is and how tempting it is to avoid facing our emotions. It's healthier for us to accept the grief as it comes and seek help from therapists if necessary. For the most part, I just want you to know that it's normal to experience a wide range of emotions as we move through this difficult period. It's typical to go through a range of emotions as you work through the rehabilitation process. Step 3 is to break old habits, which is easier said than done. We need to change our behavior today so that we don't fall into the same traps with another partner in the future. Understanding the habits we have in our interpersonal interactions is important. The inability to recognize when a relationship is harmful, the difficulty in setting and maintaining good boundaries with others, and the incessant desire for acceptance are all examples. We keep giving the other person more chances than they need in the vain hope that they will eventually succeed. When we have been under a narcissist's influence for a long time, it can be difficult to tell what is healthy and what is not. So it's advisable to let a therapist assist you in recognizing abusive patterns of behavior and developing more healthy approaches to interpersonal interactions. Although it may be difficult to accept at first, we must realize that when we have been in an abusive relationship for a long time, we will inevitably feel some degree of discomfort. Although it will take a considerable amount of time, this step is crucial in ensuring that we do not enter into another violent relationship. This should be done while we're not in any committed relationships. Being single allows us to approach these partnerships with a clearer head and make wiser choices at the outset. Crucial to the process is the 4th phase, overcoming the trauma. Whether it takes the form of emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, narcissistic abuse is a devastating event that must be processed and healed over time. Seeking the aid of a mental health professional is essential so that we may construct a narrative out of the events, engage in open dialogue about the ordeal, and have our thoughts and feelings about it validated. It's important to keep going even if progress seems slow and difficult. The 5th and last step is to take back control of your life. We may need time alone to rediscover our sense of ourselves after leaving an abusive relationship. It's okay to follow our own interests, turn down opportunities, and be who we really are. Being unsure about our identities or our long-term goals is normal. By deciding on our own initiative where to eat or try a new activity, we can challenge ourselves to branch out of our comfort zones and try something different. Don't rush through the grieving process. Acknowledge your pain and ask yourself if it can be healed. If not, it's important to deal with your grief. It's better to let the sadness out now, however tough it may be, than to bottle it up and have it bubble to the surface during another trying time. Keep in mind that it's normal to feel a wide range of emotions as you heal. Changing established routines is necessary. It's important to change these habits to avoid getting into another toxic relationship. Identify patterns of conduct in your relationships, such as the inability to set and enforce boundaries, the need for constant approval, or the unwillingness to recognize that the relationship is failing. Taking time to reflect on a toxic relationship is important, but it can be difficult. It's a tool for avoiding future toxic connections. Being the victim of narcissistic abuse can be devastating. It's important to give yourself time and space to grieve and move on from the past. Consider limiting or eliminating any contact with the narcissist, talking to a therapist, and giving yourself time to recover. Life would improve for you. Please let us know if there is something else you'd like to see covered, or if you have any suggestions for improving this video. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Have a nice day.
So the conclusion in this video, are you struggling to move on from a toxic relationship with a narcissist? Narcissist abuse can leave you feeling manipulated, devalued, and traumatic. But it is possible to heal and reclaim your life. Here are 5 strategies to help you recover. First, recognize that abuse is a problem. Being subject to gaslighting and manipulation can cause you to doubt yourself and place blame on yourself. Journaling and therapy can help you better understand what's going on and validate your own reaction. Second, establish healthy boundaries. Boundaries prevent additional harm by limiting your exposure to abusive situations. Although it may be difficult to establish limits at first, doing so is crucial to your healing process. Third, cultivate supportive relationships. A sense of belonging and reduced feeling of loneliness can result from making connection with people who offer empathy, validation, and support. Fourth, break old habits. We need to change our behavior today so that we don't fall into the same traps with another partner in the future. Finally, acknowledge the things you believe you have lost and don't rush through the grieving process. It's healthier for you to accept the grief as it comes and seek help from therapists if necessary. Remember that it's normal to experience a wide range of emotion as you move on through this difficult period. But by following the strategies, you can heal and move on from your past. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you on the next video.